I'd like to propose a toast to you. May you live a long and healthy life, as steadfast as the Blue Ridge Mountains." After he finished speaking, Charlie downed the wine in his glass and added, "I'm on my way to check on Tristan Finch's clinic, so I'll be heading out now." Cedric, "Oh, I heard the Finch Clinic was vandalized. I should go take a look myself. It's just with so many guests here, I can't really get away." Charlie nodded and smiled. "It's your birthday today, Mr. Smith, so of course you should be here enjoying the party with everyone. I already called Fiona to make sure that neither she nor Tristan Finch was hurt. Don't worry." Cedric quickly said, "Mr. Wade, please let Warnia go with you. After all, she's the one who brought you here. It would be a hassle for you to leave on your own." Charlie didn't refuse. He just nodded in agreement and then turned to the others at the table. "Everyone, please enjoy the food and drinks. I'm going to get going." Everyone stood up to see him off, but Charlie gestured for them to stay seated, so they all sat back down. As he was leaving, Charlie said to Orville, "My father-in-law is supposed to be having dinner at the mansion tonight. If you're going to be there, could you please look out for him? If not, could you have your guys there keep an eye on things?" Orville quickly replied, "Mr. Wade, don't you worry. I'm usually at the mansion in the evenings. As soon as your father-in-law arrives, I'll make sure everything is taken care of." "Great," Charlie nodded. "Thanks, I appreciate it." Orville insisted, "Don't mention it, Mr. Wade. It's the least I can do." In Charlie's view, Jacob was a decent guy. After learning more about his past, Charlie felt sorry for him and had an instinct to look out for him a little more. After saying his goodbyes, Charlie left the Smith family villa with Warnia by his side. Warnia walked Charlie to her car and opened the passenger door for him. Once Charlie was inside, she got into the driver's seat. As soon as she was settled, Warnia turned to Charlie, her expression full of gratitude. "Mr. Wade," she said sincerely, "thank you so much for today." Charlie offered a small smile. You don't need to thank me. The rejuvenation pill was a gift for your grandfather. His thanks are more than enough." Warnia quickly replied, "Mr. Wade, I'm not just thanking you for that. I'm also thanking you for what you said to my grandpa." Warnia felt a deep sense of gratitude toward Charlie, especially after what he said to Cedric. She'd lost her parents when she was young. Even though life in the Smith family household was comfortable, she rarely felt genuine family warmth. She never really had that feeling of being looked after and protected. But just now, Charlie had actually spoken up for her. He even gave her credit for their connection, which was a huge help in securing her position within the Smith family. To Warnia, it felt like Charlie was protecting her, and that feeling filled her with a warmth she had never experienced before. It wasn't easy for her, living in the Smith family home all by herself. Charlie looked at her, smiled, and said, "I think you're the most suitable person to take over the Smith family business out of everyone in your generation. As for your cousin, honestly, he seems like he's all talk. If the Smith family were handed over to him, it would definitely go downhill." Warnia quickly waved her hand. "Honestly, my brother's not so bad. It's not like I'm going to inherit the Smith family fortune anyway. I just hope they don't kick me to the curb after my grandpa's gone." Charlie smiled a little and said seriously, "With me around, that's not going to happen." Warnia was so grateful she had to blink back tears. "Mr. Wade, I'll drive you to the clinic now." With that, she started the car and pulled away from the villa. Meanwhile, at the clinic, Tristan and his granddaughter Fiona were cleaning up the mess from the medicine cabinets that had been smashed by the Wells bodyguards. When he saw Charlie and Warnia walk in, Tristan hurried over. "Mr. Wade, what are you doing here? And Miss Smith, isn't tonight your grandpa's birthday party?" Charlie gave a small smile. I heard from Fiona that the Wells family came by and caused some trouble, so I wanted to come check on you. How bad was the damage? Tristan waved it off with a calm smile. It's nothing, just a few busted medicine cabinets and some ruined medicinal supplies. Charlie nodded. I broke Bradley Wells's right hand. Just a little warning. I also told them they have 3 days to come back here and apologize. Hearing this, Tristan grew nervous. Mr. Wade, you shouldn't pick a fight with the Wells family over an old man like me. The Wells family is powerful around here. I'm afraid they'll hold a grudge and come looking for revenge. Charlie replied calmly, Don't worry. If the Wells family wants to retaliate, let them try. I'll show them firsthand that Orris Hill isn't their city, and there's a price for throwing your weight around here. Fiona looked at him with admiration. Mr. Wade, thank you for standing up for me and my grandpa. That Wells father and son duo is just awful. They needed someone to teach them a lesson and put some fear into them. Tristan shot Fiona a look and scolded her. What are you talking about? How many times have I told you not to cause more trouble for Mr. Wade? Why don't you understand? Fiona nodded, looking hurt, and didn't dare to say another word. Just then, Charlie said, Mr. Finch, to be honest, the reason the Wells father and son came here to bother you, that has something to do with me. Tristan, Fiona, and Warnia were all a little surprised. They didn't understand what Charlie meant. Charlie smiled slightly. We're all friends here, so I'll just tell you the truth. The second son of the Wells family, Rowan, the guy from those viral videos on social media, he's like that because I planted a psychological suggestion in his mind. What? The three of them were completely dumbfounded. No one could believe that the person responsible for Rowan Wells's bizarre, disgusting compulsion, which had made him infamous across the country, was actually Charlie. Fiona subconsciously asked, Mr. Wade, did you have some kind of beef with that Rowan guy? Charlie said calmly, I don't have a problem with him. I just couldn't stand his attitude. He continued, that kid was a mess in college, always harassing female students, and he even tried to push Christian Knox's daughter's girlfriend to take extreme steps. I couldn't let that slide, so I taught him a lesson. Now there's no way he can ever hurt a woman again. Fiona's eyes lit up with admiration as she blurted out, You're my hero! I've heard for a long time that Rowan Wells was bad news. Now that this has happened to him, I bet so many people are secretly celebrating. To think it was you, Mr. Wade, who delivered that vigilante justice. Warnia, who was standing nearby, couldn't help but exclaim, The whole reason Roman is still in Orris Hill is to find the person who went after Rowan Wells. I never would have guessed it was you. Just when Warnia, Fiona, and Tristan were sighing about Rowan's situation, Charlie's father-in-law, Jacob, put on a suit, happily left his house, and hailed a cab to the mansion. Since he was planning on having a few drinks that evening, Jacob left the BKM car at home. He gave the keys to Charlie so his son-in-law could drive to the mansion and pick him up later. Lately, Jacob didn't have many hobbies. He was really into studying antiques, historical artifacts, and classical paintings, so he joined the Fine Arts Society. This dinner was his chance to secure a spot as a permanent director of the guild. To show his respect for the guild's leadership, he'd specifically used the $20,000 Charlie had given him to reserve the bronze box at the mansion. Even though it was the most basic private room at the mansion, it was still a huge step up from what most other restaurants offered. When Jacob got to the mansion, Orville was still on his way. The waiter didn't recognize Jacob, so he just led him straight to the bronze box he had booked. Seeing that no one else had arrived yet, Jacob wasn't impatient. He just took his seat and waited for the others to show up. A few minutes later, the door to the room swung open, and a middle-aged man about his age walked in. When the man saw Jacob, he walked over, smiled, and said, Jacob, my friend, you're here early. When did you get here? Jacob quickly stood up and said, Rory, I've been here for a little bit. It's a real honor to have the chairman and the executive directors join my dinner tonight. I was so excited I rushed over to make sure I was here to greet everyone when they arrived. The man who had just walked in was Rory Hogan, a permanent director at the Fine Arts Society. He and Jacob were good friends. They both loved to geek out over vintage paintings and letters, so they often went hunting for treasures together at the vintage market. They had become pretty close. When he heard Jacob was trying to get the director position, he was the first one to stand up and support him. In fact, the main reason the guild's leaders agreed to come to Jacob's dinner tonight was because of Rory's reputation. Seeing how polite Jacob was being, Rory laughed and said, "Jacob, you really went all out." Jacob quickly gestured to a chair and said, "Rory, please, have a seat." Rory didn't sit down right away. Noticing they were still alone, he lowered his voice and said, "Jacob, about you running for this director spot. I'm on your side, of course, but not everyone else in the guild feels the same way I do." When Jacob heard this, he got a little worried and quickly asked, "Rory, can you give me the details?" Rory Hogan sighed and said, "The executive director position is a big deal. Whoever holds that title carries a lot of weight, so it's always been a really sweet gig. Our executive director gets to make appearances on shows like the Antiques Roadshow. They get paid tens of thousands of dollars just for showing up. So a lot of people have their eyes on this position." Rory continued, "Take Clyde Farrell, for example. I've heard that lately he's been sucking up to the chairman and the other directors, even giving them gifts in private. The way things are looking, he's going to be your biggest competitor." "Clyde Farrell?" Jacob, "You mean that guy who throws a little money around and acts like he owns the place?" Rory nodded. "Exactly. So my support alone isn't going to be enough. When the others get here, you need to win over the other directors and even the president. That way, in the internal vote, you can beat Clyde and become the new executive director. You get it?" Jacob nodded quickly, his voice full of sincerity. "Rory, what you said is really inspiring. Thanks so much." Rory, "Why are you being so polite with me?" He glanced at the time and added, "The president and the others should be here any minute. Let's wait by the door to the room. It'll look more respectful." Jacob nodded again and didn't dare sit back down. He went with Rory to stand by the door of the private room, waiting for the leaders and directors of the Fine Arts Society to arrive. After a few minutes, other members of the Fine Arts Society started trickling in. A lively old master came to the door, surrounded by a crowd of people, like he was the center of the universe. When Rory saw the old master, he immediately stepped forward with a smile. "President!" Jacob quickly followed and said respectfully, "President Sanford, you're here." President Sanford nodded slightly and pretended to complain. "Jacob, look at you, making such a big scene. Didn't we agree to keep it casual? You could have just picked any random restaurant. A regular table in the main dining room would have been fine. Why go through all the trouble and expense of booking a private room at the mansion?" Even though he said that, chiding Jacob for being too extravagant, it was just for show. He didn't mean it at all. If Jacob had actually taken him to some cheap hotel lobby for dinner, he would have turned around and walked right out, and he'd never have anything to do with him again. Jacob hurried to say, "But everyone who came today is a leader in the society. With you here, President, how could I dare to be negligent?" He laughed and added, "Since everyone is here, let's please have a seat." President Sanford nodded. "All right, everyone, let's sit down." Just then, a middle-aged man who was with President Sanford suddenly snorted. "Jacob, you bring everyone to the mansion for dinner and you only book the lowest-tier bronze box? Isn't that a little disrespectful to the president and the other executive directors?" Jacob's face darkened when he saw who it was. "Clyde Farrell, I invited everyone else to dinner, but I didn't invite you. What are you doing here, crashing the party? Besides, the room I booked has nothing to do with you. Is it really your place to be making such thoughtless comments right now? The man standing before him was Clyde Farrell, his main rival for the executive director position. Clyde, you can't be serious. Let's not forget who we're talking about here. We've got Mr. Elijah Sanford and the other directors with us. As he spoke, Clyde snorted. And why did you invite everyone to dinner tonight? We all know what this is really about, don't we? You're just trying to lock down that executive director job. But do you honestly believe that booking this measly bronze box is going to impress anyone? You think this is enough to get Mr. Sanford and the others to back you? It's just insulting. You're treating everyone here like they've never experienced anything nice in their lives. After his outburst, he scanned the room with a smug grin. A simple bronze box is hardly fitting for people of your caliber. To show my genuine respect for Mr. Sanford and the directors, I took the liberty of booking the golden box upstairs. Why don't we all head up there and continue this celebration properly? When everyone heard that Clyde had actually booked the golden box upstairs, they were completely shocked. In all of Orris Hill, the mansion is one of the most exclusive restaurants around. Even some of the most connected people in Orris Hill's high society, people with deep pockets and good contacts, have a hard time getting a reservation for the golden box. Out of everyone there, even Elijah Sanford, who was the most respected person in the group, had never had the chance to dine in the golden box. None of them had even seen how luxurious it was inside. Now, Clyde was offering to host all of them in the golden box, giving them a chance to finally see it for themselves. It was an incredibly surprising and exciting offer. Compared to that, Jacob's little bronze box seemed like a total joke, completely inadequate. Thinking about it, everyone felt a bit let down by Jacob. When they looked over at Clyde, however, they were filled with a new sense of admiration. Elijah was tempted, but he had already accepted Jacob's invitation first. It wouldn't be right to just make a decision on his own, so he deliberately turned to the group to get their thoughts. Well, he said, that's a very generous invitation. What does everyone else think? Someone couldn't help but chime in. Mr. Sanford, I've never been inside the golden box. This would be a great chance to see it. Yeah, Mr. Sanford, it would be awesome to get a few pictures inside to post on our social media feeds. Elijah saw that everyone was eager to go to the golden box. He smiled and said, well, since everyone feels that way, shall we go take a look? Yes, let's go, everyone agreed in unison. Clyde was thrilled. He beamed and said, everyone, right this way, please. It's upstairs. Jacob, standing off to the side, felt completely defeated and heartbroken. He was the one who had invited everyone to dinner, but who could have predicted that Clyde would just show up and hijack the whole thing? The guy books the golden box, strolls over, says a few words, and completely ruins the dinner Jacob had so carefully planned. It had cost him $20,000 to book this meal. And the worst part was that the money he spent wasn't just wasted. Clyde's arrival made everyone look down on him. Jacob was furious. He had really shot himself in the foot this time. As everyone started heading upstairs, Clyde shot Jacob a smug look and said sarcastically, Jacob, you broke old man. I bet you've never seen how luxurious the golden box is. Why don't you come along too? Join us. Hearing this, Jacob was completely mortified. He snapped back angrily. Lied! Who are you calling a broke old man? You think I'm some kind of hick who's never been anywhere? Let me tell you, I've seen all 10 floors of the Sterling Club. That golden box room at the mansion you're so impressed with? The way you talk, you make it sound like the King of Heaven's palace in the sky. Clyde roared with laughter. Oh, Jacob, you're killing me. You, at the Sterling Club? Seriously? You've been to the 10th floor, the one only VIP members can get into? What were you doing? Cleaning the toilets? At Clyde's taunt, everyone burst out laughing. They all agreed with him. A bronze box room at the mansion was something a regular person could book if they really saved up for it. But the Sterling Club was strictly for members. To become a member, the requirements were incredibly high. If your status, connections, and bank account weren't up to snuff, you had no chance of even getting through the door, let alone spending any money inside. So, out of everyone here today, Not a single person had ever been to the 5th floor of the Sterling Club. Even Clyde himself had only just become a member at the lowest tier of the Sterling Club. When Jacob claimed he'd been to the 10th floor, naturally, nobody believed him. Jacob couldn't believe it. He was telling the truth, but everyone thought he was just showing off. He said, a little annoyed, "My son-in-law arranged for me and some old classmates to go. If you don't believe me, that's on you." Clyde laughed out loud. "Oh, I know all about your son-in-law. Isn't he Orris Hill's most famous live-in son-in-law? I heard he's just a kept man, a freeloader. He's got nothing on you. How could someone like him possibly get you into the Sterling Club?" Jacob snorted. Believe it or not. Clyde smiled and said, "If you really have that kind of pull, why don't you invite President Sanford to hang out at the Sterling Club? Why book a low-rent bronze box at the mansion instead?" Then a look of sudden realization crossed his face. "Oh, I get it now. You don't think President Sanford and the other directors are important. You think they only deserve to sit in a cheap bronze box, that they're not good enough for the Sterling Club." Clyde's words completely cornered Jacob, leaving him with no comeback. The guy was nasty, but sharp. One moment he's building you up, the next he's got you trapped with no way out. So as angry as Jacob was, he couldn't find a single thing to say back to Clyde. All he could manage to say angrily was, "Ugh, that's not what I meant." Seeing how easily he'd won, Clyde waved his hand dismissively. "Forget it. I'm not going to waste my breath arguing with you. With your attitude, do you think you deserve to be a standing director? If you actually got the position, it would be a total joke." After saying that, he turned to President Sanford and the others, his expression instantly changing to a warm smile. "President, shall we go?" Clyde had booked the golden box for everyone, a move that won over many of the people there. Even a few of the standing directors who had been neutral before were now giving him friendly smiles. Jacob stomped his foot in frustration when he saw this, but he was completely helpless. Rory, who was next to him, grabbed his arm and whispered, "Jacob, don't get discouraged. Right now, this is just a battle of egos." He leaned in closer and said in a low voice, "Look, you can't get mad. You need to go to the golden box, put on a good show in front of President Sanford and the others, and make one last push. If you give up now, I'm afraid that executive director position will really go straight to Clyde." It was like Jacob suddenly woke up. You're right. Even though he lost the argument about dinner to Clyde, that doesn't mean Clyde is the final winner. If I just stormed off in a rage today, it would all be for nothing, a total loss. So he thanked Rory and said, "Rory, thanks for the reality check. I'm going to see what Clyde is really made of." After that, he turned to Clyde. "Since you're so insistent, fine. I'll go with you to the golden box and see what it's all about." Clyde snorted disdainfully and said, "I told you, you're just a stubborn old fool and you still won't admit it. If you had actually passed up this chance, I bet you'd go home tonight and just lose sleep over it, waking up over and over again." After being ridiculed so harshly by Clyde, Jacob was obviously having a hard time keeping his cool. Still, he remembered Rory's advice. The top priority was to secure the standing director position, not get into a fight with Clyde. So, he swallowed his anger, kept his mouth shut, and walked with the group, following Clyde all the way up to the golden box room. As soon as they stepped inside, everyone was blown away by the luxurious decor, gasping in admiration. One of the standing directors spoke up. "We really have Clyde to thank for this. I can't believe we're actually seeing the inside of the legendary golden box at the mansion." Someone else chimed in. "That's right.